Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Every woman carries a story of strength, of purpose, of light. Through her courage, the world is transformed. Through her grace, generations are inspired. This is Iconic Women. Within every woman lives a goddess, a celebration of brilliance, beauty, and empowerment. Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. New York, 4 p.m. London time, only here on USA, Global TVR, and Radio. Featuring the iconic Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, honoring voices that shine across the world. Subscribe to our YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, to watch and engage with all our content. World-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration.
Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where we are the proud owner of the YouTube Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers, which is now 107,000 and 37,000 on our second channel. We're glad to have you here. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and this is Iconic Women, where we celebrate women from around the world who are truly making a difference. I'm coming to you live today from Saronida, Greece, where I will be for the next couple of weeks doing some business, meeting some friends. And I'm just letting you know it is an absolute joy and pleasure and honor to be able to travel around the world and shake the hands of the people who have believed in me from the beginning. And now we have 63 different shows across the world. So thank you to each and every one of you for making this possible. We have a very special guest today. And by the way, it just goes to show you the power of connection. If you are open, if you are curious, if you are walking through doors, if you are opening windows and going through, you never know where it's going to take you. So I was introduced to someone who introduced me 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 to this guest today. And she is really doing things to help women all across the world. And we're going to talk about, the word is menopause. Yes, it is menopause. I said it there. It's okay. It's not a bad word. It's something that if we're here, it's going to happen to us as women. So our guest today is Ulrika. I hope I said that right. Karlsson, a global menopause and stress management expert, spiritual teacher, and soul coach. Let us welcome her to the program. Hello, hello.
Hello, Dr. JACALYN. So nice to meet you, and thank you for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure, and we want to say thank you to Dawn Bates for the introduction. She's another iconic, dynamic woman. So you are all about having women embrace a stage of life by getting knowledge and tools to help them live the best quality of life. Is that true?
That is so true. Correct.
Fantastic. So for those of you who have not gone through menopause, don't know what menopause is, it's a change in life. They call it the change, and it affects us in so many ways. But before we get into that, I'd love to have you share, first of all, where in the world are you? And what is it that made you want to concentrate on Bloom Beyond Menopause?
Thank you. So I am born and raised in Sweden. So I'm a Swede, but currently I am in Spain. So we are sharing the Mediterranean together, but I'm just on the other half of it.
Fantastic. And how did you decide that this was the path that you were born to take?
Well, during COVID, I faced so many different challenges on so many different levels, and I was pushed and forced into menopause. And at the time, obviously, I didn't know that I was entering into menopause, but it felt like everything that I known just fell apart. I was disconnected from self. My partner, he took me to doctors because he thought that I was actually in being dementia, in Alzheimer condition. So I did a lot of investigations, etc., and everything was upside down, and I really didn't know anything. And I had so much brain fog, like I could watch the screen where I had to pay my bills, and I obviously I could see the numbers and everything, but I just didn't know what to do. And so this affected me, my life, my relations, etc., etc. So, and I know that menopause is such a really important phase for us women, but in Sweden, it has been really distorted into something ugly, shameful, and also they are calling women in menopause like cows. So I really, really believe that my own experience laid the foundation for me to discover the importance of this topic, and that most women actually also feel alone in the transition. I've been talking to so many women, and everybody expressed the same thing, that they feel very alone, they feel disconnected, they have brain fog, they gain weight, they have low energy, mood swings, anxiety, etc. And everybody almost believes that there's something wrong with them. And
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great way of describing it. Thank you. I know when I was in corporate and I retired in March of 2020, I remember I was standing up to present. I'm like, whoa, what is going on? I'm sweating, dripping down my back. And you're standing in front of all these people, most of whom were men. And you heard that this could happen, but you didn't really think it was going to happen because it hadn't happened. And now you don't know what to do because now you're expected to deliver, your speech, and you're sweating. So it's a really awkward time of life. And I think it's important to people have information and they have tools and skills to be able to share this. So thank you for being honest and candid about what you are going through, because that really makes it relatable and understandable. So I love the title, Bloom Beyond Menopause, as though there's something after that we can look forward to, but yet there's also a window of time, and I believe it's 10 years or up to 10 years. Is that true?
I think it's very individual. I think it also has to come, if you look at your mom and your female ancestors, because it can be also inherited how long it is for you, but it can be very individual. I know some women that have been there for 15 plus years, in this experience with hot flushes, poor sleep, low libido, etc., etc. So there's so much to do. And this is also, as you said yourself, sooner or later, we are all joining or coming into this phase. And most of us, we don't even know when. It's not like it's announced or something that we expect. And so, yeah, it can really drag on with this transition can really drag on in time.
Exactly. I remember now I went to the gynecologist and I asked them to do the blood test to see where I was in the process. And I'm trying to remember, and I can't, but I think in the blood test, they're like different stages of where you could be, and that will determine how much longer it's going to go on. But I don't know that I really put any stock into that. But at least in the States, there is a test, or there was a test that you could determine where you were. But the other thing is, I think that's interesting is when I was growing up, my mother gave me a book. It was just The Birds and Bees. Read this book. But I don't think anyone ever handed me a book and said, by the way, look at this, because it affects so many different things. So how do we get the word out as women that it's okay to talk about this and that there are people like you out there who can help?
You're so right. I got a book from my mom and, from school also, but that was also more about the fertile phase and entering into having period. I wish I wish I would have had that book at the time, but I didn't. So that's why I believe that by sitting like you and I are doing here now, Dr. JACALYN, to meet, to have the topic, even if it's uncomfortable or even if it's still taboo to talk about, because everybody knows it, yet not so many people talk about it, and yet the discussion is bigger now than it was just like 5 years ago. So I'm so happy that like I'm creating this free summit, and I have speakers from many different countries, doctors, etc. So they also say the same thing, that we need to talk about what's uncomfortable, and we need to talk about and address it, how it affects not only the woman that is going through the transition, but also the men, the relations to kid, etc., etc. So it's affecting everyone, and as you shared, in your job, in your career, also affecting. So I think talking about it, I write articles about it, I write books about it, I share my own story, and I share it really, really raw sometimes. So I think this is what we can do to make other women comfortable to talk about it.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and it's important that we talk about it. And I think for me, there was somewhat of a let's celebrate, I'm not getting a period again, and then the reality of, oh, what does this mean? Because at least in the US, in places that I have lived in the past, you get to be a certain age, and sorry, we don't want you anymore, says the male population. Just I'm generalizing. But it's the fact that when you have the period and you're still viable, I'm using that word, but at the same time, you don't want it anymore. And you want to be able to live a different type of life without having to deal with that. But yet now all these symptoms come and your body changes. Can you talk about, just in general, in the work that you've done, what are some of the symptoms that women experience?
So we've mentioned a few already. We've mentioned sweatings, hot flushes, anxiety, panic attacks, sense of being disconnected or losing yourself, not feeling at home in your own body, weight gain, mood swings, low libido, anxiety, rashes, thyroid issues, adrenals issues. So I work a lot with the glands to make the inner communication so women can move through and bloom beyond menopause. Because actually, I mean, I've been talking to many women that have been, also forced into menopause at the age of 35. So it really varies the age, and we as women, we can live until we're 80, right, and being productive. And the old days in ancient time, like I'm a yogi, the old scriptures are talking about the wise women, the elder that is supporting the younger one, and that women for thousands of years have been gathering around sacred bonfires to share wisdom, to support each other, to talk about these kind of topics, these rituals, ceremonies, right? But we have lost it in the Western world. So everybody is struggling on their own, and trying to manage this new phase where everything is upside down. You have a hard time to sleep because of the hot flushes and because of a lot of things that is going on. So it like hits you, and it feels like this shit storm, and then you're there trying to navigate it yourself. But I truly believe that we, just like you and I, are gathering now through the screen, like the modern bonfire, to talk, to share, to support each other, and to help each other to bloom through this period, because I truly believe that we have so much wisdom, so much life experience to provide even after perimenopause or menopause, because that is the archetype of the queen, right? The sovereign, the truth teller, the wise woman, the elder.
Yes, absolutely. And I love the fact that you not only are an expert in this area of menopause, but you also are in stress management. They go hand in hand. So, how do you help women with managing stress?
Oh, it's an easy question, but not always simple, because when we are stressed, it infects and impacts pretty much everything in our body, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, etc. And when we have poor breath related to stress, when we are stressed, we tend to have a poor breath, right? This means that we don't inhale as much life force energy as we desire or want or need in our life. And also we are exhaling and leaving stress within the body in each breath that we take, and we don't even know about this. So this is very unconscious. So when we have a poor breathing pattern, when we have a poor connection of the inner communication of the glands, where the chakras, as a yogi we have 7 main chakras in the bodies, when there are imbalance, it affects everything. So I work with women individually, coaching. I have shorter period of programs and longer period of programs, because when I entered menopause, I really wished that I would have had someone to hold my back, to support me, to guide me, to give me tools to navigate through. And so luckily I had my own tools at the time, but there's so many women out there that are not even conscious of their breath and the importance of the breath. So that's where it's always starting, because when the breath is limited, then your life is limited. If your breath is restricted, your life is restricted in all areas. So really checking out where the people are, who do I have in front of me, also what kind of body type does she have, because we also have different body types, different constitutions, etc. And then really tailor-made based on your needs, your symptoms, because if you have these symptoms, then obviously you want to have help to release these or to decrease them, right? So I work with holistic practices like yoga, breathwork, meditation, tantra, if people are open to that, quantum healing, etc., etc. So it's like a big smorgasbord designed for each woman that I meet.
It sounds like you've got a lot of things to offer to women. And I know myself, I practice yoga, meditation. It really does make a difference. And when we're coming from a place of fear, our breath is withheld or jagged and it's not even and steady. When we come from a place of love, smooth sailing. So
Exactly.
so anybody who's out there who is going through menopause or has questions about menopause and would like to get some expert advice, you've got the information we see right here on the screen, which is terrific. So I will be sharing your website, your Amazon, as well as your Facebook and any other links that you want people to take a look at, because we really are here to help other people. Here's your Facebook right now. Okay, so what I'd like to talk a little bit now is you're also an author, and I see that you've written a number of books. And tell us how you got involved with writing.
How did I? Good question. Thank you. Actually, I was on national TV here in Sweden, and I was talking about my sleeping disorders. I've had sleeping disorders, and I've been depressed and suicidal for many years in my life, for decades. So I was on national TV talking about sleeping disorders and being depressed, being suicidal. And people from all over Sweden connected with me after and thanked me for talking so raw and vulnerable about these also quite hard topics, right? And so they said that they really wanted to know more about me, that wanted to know more about my journey and how I came back from being suicidal and depressed back to life. So actually it started with people from Sweden asking me to write my first book, 2:47 a.m., The Journey Home to My Heart, which is my autobiography, my journey back to life. And then in my own journey, like being so hitting rock bottom and being, so depressed. So I only slept 15 minutes per night for decades. So when I was in this transition or journey or awakening, which I know now that it was, even though I didn't feel it at the time, I gained so much wisdom. It's not knowledge, because knowledge or theory is something that you can read on a book or Google on internet, but embodied wisdom, like inner knowing. I had really, really deep inner knowings, downloads, channelings, whatever you want to call it, and really connect with the deep ancient wisdom that we all know, but we have forgotten about due to our stressful lifestyles. Whether we are in menopause or not, we are living very stressful lives, right, in Western societies. So then I started to write a lot about the soul and spiritual perspective on us as being human here in this earth plane. And some of the books that I wrote must have been so spot on because they were censored and silenced and etc. So, and also my work actually, because I truly believe that we are designed to heal. And here is the thing, speaking about menopause, when we are in menopause and if we have a lot of traumas in our bodies that are unconsciously stored, we have a lot of traumas, we have unresolved stress, unexpressed emotions, etc. And when we enter menopause, it amplifies. So the more trauma we have, the more unexpressed emotions we have in the body, it amplifies with the symptoms in menopause. But if we are designed to heal, right? But if we heal, then big pharma wouldn't have jobs, right? They wouldn't earn the big money that they do in keeping us sick. Dis-ease. We're not at ease. We are creating discomfort in our body. We are not feeling at ease, so we create diseases. So my work and my books were actually shadow banned, and I just take it as a sign that it was onto something really deep and profound that we all know but have forgotten. Yeah, so that's how I came to write some of the books from the soul perspective on what was going on and etc. in the world, collective consciousness.
First of all, thank you for being so transparent and sharing your background with us. That takes a lot of courage, and I really admire you for doing that and for taking where you were and observing it, being aware of it, and moving to where you are today. And I think that gives a lot of hope and courage and inspiration to other women who are out there, because I personally have known women also who were really struggling and they just didn't want to live another day. And yet they had so much more to give, but they didn't know where to turn. And now we have you here who can help our audience. So thank you for that. So I know you talked about thank you. I know you talked about the summit that's coming up. And it is this month. I can't remember the date, but can you talk a little bit about where people can attend or where they can participate and any other details that you have about that?
Thank you. Yeah, so first we've talked a little bit about that menopause is like a hot topic still and taboo or shameful, and many women that are in this transition are feeling lost, disconnected, etc. And then they go out on internet and there's so much information on the internet, right? You can take the HRT treatment or not. So there's so many things out there. And if you have the brain fog, and if you like me, I couldn't even pay my bills, then it's not so easy to sort out what is good for me, what resonates with me. So you go to a doctor, perhaps you take some pill, even though that there are other options. So I'm not saying this or that. I mean, the whole spectra for me is open, but I wanted to create this summit where we can gather around the sacred bonfires with the same theme of menopause, but coming from different perspectives, from doctors, from nutritionists, from myself, ancient wisdom, and coming also from Menopause on Workspace and like Dawn, our mutual friend, writing books about this, being a publisher, etc. So my intention were actually many, that together with like-minded women to get information and also to get help and support if you feel that you need it. So I've challenged myself in doing this. This is a stretch for me. I mean, I'm a yoga therapist and I've been doing that for 30 plus years and a lot of different healing modalities. I'm not good at sales, marketing, tech stuff, etc. And then with everything that is going on. So yeah, it's a big challenge for me, but like a support space, this bonfire where we can support each other, where we can share, share tools, insights, support, questions, etc. So that was one of my intentions.
I think that's fantastic. And you're really talking about women empowering women and doing it in a scenario where people feel safe. And I think that's what's really important. I want to pull up your website because you've got a lot of terrific information here. And I love the visuals as well. Where were you when you were doing this?
I was south of Sweden on an island called Island.
It's an island called Island?
Yes.
Love that. And congratulations on your book in the bestseller category in 3 categories. That's amazing. Tell us about this book.
So yeah, Becoming actually was launched in July this year, 2025. And it is, all my books are based upon my own experience. So I'm only sharing my own journey. And I know that it's working since I'm here with you, Dr. JACALYN. Otherwise, I would have been dead long time ago when I was suicidal. So this was when I'm sharing. My father was dying in cancer last year, and I was taking care of my dad together with my mom. So it was my own experience of living so close to death for a very long time, what it did to me, and also the insights that I got from living with my dad, my own journey, like things in me were also dying, old ego, karmic cords, programs, etc. And also, when something is dying, we know that something new is beginning. And it's the same with menopause. When we are leaving the fertile phase, we are moving into fertility with the soil, with the soul. So I'm sharing my raw story about living close to my dad. And I noticed that so many people, like every time that I went out to social media, I noticed that people were dying. People were dying, people were sick. So this book, Becoming, is also for me with the intention to support other people who live close to people who are dying, and also people who have died, the people who remain here on the earth plane, their journey, their grief journey, and who we are becoming. So yeah, I wrote this book quite quickly actually, and it became a bestseller, and I'm truly grateful for that. And I still get emails from people all over the world reading the book, thanking me that it's, giving them also the comfort that they need and the support that they need in this transition from life to death and from death to life.
Thank you for sharing that. It is something that unless you've gone through it yourself, you can't imagine. I went through it with my mother, and it really, it's really an awakening in and of itself. And to watch that very moment where they take their last breath and then they're not there anymore. And even if your loved one is really suffering and you think, I don't want them to be in pain anymore, and then they're gone, and it's so forever. And of course, the afterlife and all, but in this human experience,
Yes.
in that one breath, it just, there's nothing left. And this dress, I wear this dress usually every Thursday. It's when I was holding my mom, the last time I held her I was wearing this dress. So I applaud you for writing the book and also for getting all of those accolades. That's outstanding. So I'd like you to share a little bit about what it's like to go from where you were to where you are, because you were in your own words, hopeless, in a hopeless situation. And look at you now.
Yeah, thank you. So I guess I just teach what I walk the talk. Everything that I teach, everything that I share, I have done myself. So yeah, just allowing it all. We have the whole spectra of feelings, right? I don't know how it is for you in the States, but in Sweden, we are not allowed. It's in our genes, in our gene codes, that we are not allowed to show strong emotions. We are not allowed to be too sad, too angry, too horny, too happy, whatever, because everybody should be just, the same, equal. So And I've always been very, very sensitive. I'm an empath, a highly sensitive person, but obviously I didn't know about these things when I was a child. So my whole journey has been about really coming back to me, who I am, my soul's gifts and talents. And the greatest challenges that I've had are actually now my greatest gifts. So challenges are disguised gifts, but it doesn't seem like it when we're there. But the ego, I'm sorry, the ego is constructed that it wants to keep us safe, to keep us in survive mode. That is the function of the ego, right? And the soul is here for our growth. So soul doesn't want us to stay in comfort zone. So the soul is constantly nudging us and pushing us to move forward. But not everybody's listening, right? Because we have so many different, again, stress in our bodies, stored in the bodies, so much unresolved stress, unresolved, unhealed traumas, unexpressed emotions that is lying like layers and making us not in alignment with who we are on a soul level. So I'm basically just teaching what I know work as I'm here, I'm alive, I'm vibrant, and to not shy away from any strong emotions, fears, etc. Because we know that growth only happens when we move outside of comfort zone, right? And every time that we move out of comfort zone, it's uncomfortable. I mean, you can hear it by its name, and it's challenging, etc. But most people, okay, they think that, okay, I'm doing something wrong. So they go back into the comfort zone, right? They go back into what's familiar, to the same relations, even if it sucks, to the same work, even if they don't like it, to the same patterns, the same behaviors, right? And this is only also because we are governed. We only have access to 5% of consciousness. I mean, it's hilarious. We are living in a digital world where we can do pretty much everything, but we as humans in general have access to 5% of consciousness. This means that we are governed by 95% of unconscious programs, which I've been talking about, which is stored in the body. And the more I'm courageous enough to face what is stored within me, the more access I have to light, to consciousness, to the inner wisdom, okay? So there's no shortcuts. There's no moving around. And we try to do this all the time. We numb ourselves. We distract ourselves. We live in societies that are distracted all the time. Hey, look here. This is going on social media. Do this, do that. Always on the move, on the go, doing. And we are forgetting that we are human beings, not human doers. So most people stay where they are. They stick in the relation. It's safe. They don't know, because they think that when they move out and it feels uncomfortable, fears are popping up that there's something wrong, but it's not. So if you feel that you are actually in a dark space, you can actually think of it as you are a seed being planted in this fertile soil where you can grow and to bloom and become the one that you're meant to be. And also the word depressed. I think this is so amazing. The word depressed. In Sweden, so many people are depressed using medications, right? And the medications is just treating the symptoms, not taking care of the root cause. But if you say the word depressed, you can also see it as a deep rest. A deep rest for body, mind, and soul. So you are in this transition, this deep rest. The soul has put you into this deep rest where you can bloom into something else if you choose to, because we are free souls with free wills. So that was I'm just talking about what I've done myself, and this is also what I'm supporting and guiding others to do.
I think it's brilliant and so comprehensive. I mean, there's so many different aspects of it. I truly admire that. I just wanted to say that sometimes, including myself, sometimes we become a prisoner of our mind. And what I mean by that is, I remember with the pandemic, I was in New Jersey and the state shut down. It was like March the 6th, and I just retired from my corporate career. And in my mind, I was terrified to open the door to my apartment to go out because something something horrible was going to take over. So I literally spent 2 months in the apartment having everything delivered. And I remembered I had a television show at the time, and the guy said, listen, if you don't come in, then we're canceling your show. So I was like, I'm going to leave the building. Like, I was actually terrified to open the door and go down the hallway. And I got outside. I was like, okay, yeah, I spent 2 months brainwashing myself. So the things that we tell ourselves, what you're talking about with that programming, we can actually break free from it. We have the ability to make a choice, but we also have the ability to say, I need some help. Can you help me? So I want to bring up your website again, and I want to go through these different opportunities that you have to help people, because you do have a number of programs that you offer, correct?
Yes,
You've got
I do.
Tailormade programs. Let me bring it up now. Okay, here we go. So here on the website, we have tailor-made programs. Can you talk about some of these, and I'll click on them as you do?
I think actually one is so fresh, so it came there this morning, because it's been also growing, just offering short courses. But so I have a program called Bloom Beyond Menopause, like the summit, for women who are ready to leave the struggle behind and to bloom beyond menopause. So it's deep, transformative 6 or 12 months long programs for women who needs tools, guidance, someone to hold their hand. And again, these programs really arised from when I was there myself and I didn't have anybody, and I was trying to navigate by myself. And luckily, I have all the tools in my own journey. So I created the tailor-made healing program for me at the time. So that is one program, and then I've had other programs that I've just put on pause for a little while, but called also Master Yourself, where we are working with different energetics in the body, like the divine feminine, masculine, working with the chakras, the doshas in Ayurveda, etc. So they're very deep and transformative for women at the moment, as I'm focusing on women in menopause, to bloom beyond menopause and to move through this dark this shit storm that it might experience as this dark phase, this transition of life. Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm so glad that you are available to help people. And I want to go back to the website, because you also have a number of media outlets that you've been part of. And so are you also doing podcasting yourself, or you've been featured on a number of other podcasts?
It's in the pipeline to do my own, but I haven't had time to tell you the truth. But I've been participated in 100+ podcasts, so I don't even have them all on the website, because it's like podcasts, like once a month, and people are connecting with me. And I think it's a great way to connect with people like you and I here, Dr. JACALYN. We've never met, and yet we can be here and talk about these topics that is important and yet still taboo or shameful. So I always love to go on podcasts, because it's a great way also for me, because the way that I see it, everything that I've been through, I mean, I wouldn't even been here if I committed suicide, right? So it's like paying forward. I see it as ripple effects. And if it's like one sentence that I am saying that can support or help someone out there, then this is the reason why I'm here. Because I truly also believe, as we go through these challenges, and if we choose to move through them, as you have described that you have been doing as myself, this can be the things that we can help others with, right? So yeah, I lost the thread.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's totally fine. We actually are coming to the end of our segment today. And you can see I look like a little bit different. My battery was going dead because I was teaching all day. I was like, oh, I got to plug in the computer and sit down somewhere else. So I apologize. But anyway, I really appreciate what you shared today. I love the fact that the summit is coming up and that you are really tapping into something that we desperately need. I mean, I think I've done 7,000 shows myself and maybe interviewed 2 other people about menopause in the last 4 years. So you definitely are hitting on something that we truly need to hear more about. So I wish you all the best. So we are live right now on television, but we will be a podcast after the fact. So for people who are not able to see the screen and know what your contact details are, can you please share what is the best way for people to reach out to you, and who would you like to contact you?
Thank you. So my email address is Ullis, that is my nickname. It's ULLIS at ULLISKARLSSON.com. Ullis at ulliskarlsson.com.
All right. And who would you like to contact you?
All of you women who are out there and you are ready to bloom, please connect with me. I know that there is a way through, and you're not alone. You're not alone.
All right. Thank you so much. There you have it. It's been an absolute pleasure having you with us today. I thank you for being here, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And thank you for listening.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, thank you everyone for being here. As I mentioned, now I have half of a head because I am not in my studio. I had to sit down where I could plug in the computer. So you know what they say, the show must go on. But in all seriousness, menopause is a serious time of life. It shows up in a lot of different ways for different people. And some people are open to talking about it and other people are not. I believe that it's always good to talk about things, because when we keep it inside, that's when it shows up some other way outside or even inside with their mental health. So if you are interested, please do reach out with any of your questions or comments. So that's going to conclude our show today, which is Iconic Women. If you're just joining us for the first time, we are a live television network and we are live streaming on many platforms. YouTube is my favorite, but we're also on Amazon Fire. We're on all the social media. And then we have distributors who take us out over all the other major streaming platforms. So if you're interested, we'd love to have you join our community. I'm going to put the slide up now. And we have 2 YouTube channels, USA Global TV and Radio. That's where we've earned the YouTube Silver Creator Award. We now have over 107,000 subscribers. And also our Dr. JACALYN KERBECK channel. Today we reached over 37,000. So thank you to each and every one of you around the world. If you're interested in having your own show with you, we'd love to talk to you about it. You can reach out to me directly. And my email, I will drop it into the notes. It's drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com. Thank you so much. We're going to go over to our sponsors, and we'll look forward to seeing you for our next show, which is coming up in about 20 minutes, I believe. Let's stay together. Let's be positive. And before we speak, I always say 3 questions. Is it kind? Is it necessary? And is it true? And if it's not those 3 things, let's take a breath. Let's pause and let's think, do we really need to speak? All right. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. USA Global TV and Radio proudly presents Tracy Cram-Perkins, a dementia caregiving survivor teaching how to balance care with peace of mind. #1 resource for dementia caregivers. It's the book Dementia Home Care: How to Prepare Before, During, and After. Over 17,000 copies sold of this must-have guide. And now a testimonial from Tracy Smith.
If I was to describe this book to someone who is going through a similar situation, I would underscore how important it is to have some sort of a tool or a guidebook to help you through certain stages. And there's so many, it's such an unknown topic to the average person. And to have this as a reference is essential. It's going to help you get through it personally, as well as help your loved one manage.
To learn more, go to tracycramperkins.com. Tracy Cram-Perkins is an award-winning author. She's also the host of Dementia Home Care television show. Watch it here on USA Global TV and Radio.
Which of these 5 statements sounds mostly like you? 1. I often wake up in the middle of the night worrying about my future. 2. I'm angry or resentful towards a specific person. 3. I have anxious, obsessive, compulsive thoughts throughout the day. 4. I have an addiction like smoking, drinking, shopping, sugar, or social media. And 5, I feel that I'm wasting away my life. Hello, I'm Dr. Alkistis Agio, and for over 25 years, I've been coaching and training people from all over the world to transform their fears, insecurities, anxiety, and anger into mental and emotional freedom. I'm confident that my simple 3-step method based on Greek philosophy can help you to transform into the joyful, confident, free human being that you deserve to be. I want to invite you to join my weekly online coaching group to finally get the results that you want. Look, you've tried it alone so far and you've had some okay results, but let's face it, you're still feeling stuck right now, spinning your wheels. Einstein said that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Now, unless you realize this as a fact, that you are a prisoner of your own mind, you can't move forward. I'm here to support you, as well as the whole community that we are co-creating. Stop feeling stuck. Stop feeling depressed. You don't have to do it alone, and alone isn't working anyway. Sign up today, and I'll meet you on the inside of our amazing weekly group call. I guarantee that you'll make progress from the very first session.
In a world craving connection, one platform dared to dream bigger. USA Global TV and Radio, a beacon for global voices, authentic storytelling, and elevated listening. Led by visionary Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, the journey from a spark to a global force is now captured in one inspiring book. Honored with YouTube's Silver Creator Award for surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Discover the evolution, the challenges, the triumphs, and the unstoppable spirit that created a global movement. Executive producer Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang. Creative director Paul Garcia. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication, or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited. Now an Amazon #1 new release in paperback and ebook. Broadcasting Brilliance, the evolution of USA Global TV and Radio, is inspiring readers around the world. Join the movement that's redefining global media one story at a time.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. produced by executive producer and director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.